do a job to Taz, and Vader laughed in his face and said, "Look, I'm not coming back over there just to do a job. I'm too over here in Japan." So.
Well, I'm just saying, I mean, I kind of missed the 400-pound man doing a moonsault off the top rope.
It's time.
It's time. It's beautiful.
Yeah. Absolutely great talent. And injuries, that's another guy, injuries have kind of slowed him down, but he could still be a force if used correctly, I think.
And second question is, Christmas is coming up. My girlfriend's dad, real big wrestling fan. What do I have to do to get a cookbook from you guys?
Oh, jeez, he's begging.
Oh.
You can't beg.
Sneaky Pete wants a book, man.
Yeah, I know, but then everybody else that calls in. I'll tell you what, Pete, we're going to give one away here before 8 o'clock. So
you know how long it took me to get on the phone with you guys,
I know, but we'll make it...
You guys are a happening show.
I know, but you see, then everybody else that calls in, they're going to want a cookbook, and we have to give them one, and... we got to...
But you're going to have a chance to win. He can still call back.
We're going to have a few to give away tonight, so you've got more than one chance.
Yes, you do.
All right. Thanks a lot, Pete.
Hey, man, a man wants a cookbook, brother.
I don't blame him.
Christmas coming in.
Well, I tell you what, another way he'll be able to win a cookbook, or anybody else who wants to try and win one, before the Nutter Center show, November the 12th, we will be out in front broadcasting live.
That's right, Paydays.
Used cars. They're helping us out once again. 5 to 7. Marty, myself, Julia says she'll be at this one.
Yeah, if Julia, we don't know. If you want a glimpse of this...
I will be.
No, wait. We gave away donuts at Nutter Center. You said you would be there.
55 dozen donuts, to be exact.
And were you there?
Okay,
in the cold of the morning.
Were you there?
One time.
Were you there?
That was your only chance.
This was your inaugural appearance.
Let the fans talk.
This was like the debutante ball. We were going to debut you out to the wrestling fans, and you no-showed.
I'm keeping the suspense going.
Well, the suspense is going.
See, I'm just planning it out.
There you go.
All right, well, this is it. You can come out, see Shawn and myself, see the 69th Wonder of the World. We just...
Willie wants to come, too.
Willie?
He called. He wanted to come.
Well, good for him.
He's not getting paid, basically.
Well, what's he going to come for, then?
I don't know.
Just tell him to, look, go mark out, get him a ticket up in the nosebleed section, and do what he does best, and that's cheese at some real wrestlers.
Okay.
Hey, you got to.
Anyway, we're going to have not only cookbooks and other goodies to give away, but a lot of fun. And last time we were at Hare Arena, we did this. King Morris came out. Lance Storm came out. I'm not guaranteeing anything.
There are going to be some wrestlers that are coming out.
We can't.
Well,
yes.
We're not giving any names.
And
one other thing, yes. I do have to tell you this because somebody's going to call in and ask. The card is being changed.
And it looks like The Rock will not be there.
That's right, The Rock, but I was assured today that Stone Cold Steve Austin would be.
That's good. I mean, it looks like everybody else, Triple H, Stone Cold Steve Austin, Kurt Angle, all those guys are going to be there, but The Rock is not going to be on any house shows in November.
That's the key. So we just heard that. Now, the final card for that probably is not going to come down until next Tuesday or Wednesday.
And as always, card is subject to change.
Yes, it is.
Hey, one other thing, that weekend, we are going to do the mall walk with the Dudleys. We'll let you know when and where as it becomes closer to the day.
Come on out, see the Dudley boys, see the wrestling guys.
You got to find us first.
You got to find us at the mall. And if you think you're bad enough to get up in Bubba Ray Dudley's face, then step up to the plate.
Julia, look at her over there. Yeah, I'm going to be there. I won't be there to give out donuts, but I'll be there getting Bubba's face.
There you go.
She'll be in Bubba's face, like, on the other side of the mall.
Up the arcade area.
Yeah. Julie, you ever been to the video arcade?
Yes.
Okay, just curious.
That's Bubba's favorite place.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Anyway, line 4 this time from Inglewood. Shawn, you've got the wrestling guys.
Hi.
Hi.
I got a question. What do you guys, well, first a little comment. What do you guys really think about Ric Flair as CEO now?
Ric Flair's a ratings draw. Ric Flair, makes a lot of people stay tuned to WCW, myself included. I think any way that you can use him in that company, you use him. Mm-hmm. So, and a lot of people feel like that, he's past his prime as far as wrestling, obviously, that he shouldn't wrestle anymore. But the guy has such great mic skills and such a persona and a charisma about him. You have to use him if he's on your roster.
If you look back at all the greats, and I mean, I'm going to go back to a Dusty Rhodes as an example. When their wrestling career was at the twilight of their career, they took on other segments of the show, such as a CEO, commissioners, things of that nature.
Look at Mick Foley right now.
Yeah, and then occasionally were mixed into a match. Arn Anderson did it for years in a lot of different ways. And I think, Ric Flair whatever you want to, whether you love him or you hate him, he's an icon in the industry. And if you got a man like that and you're paying him anyway, you might as well utilize his great skills. And his greatest skill is his charisma and mic skills.
And also, I heard earlier in the show about WWF possibly might be buying, WCW out. Is it going to be kind of like one of the merger deals, or is this going to be still WWF and WCW if it happens?
Right now you hear stories about both sides. From what we understand is if it happens, and again, that's a big if, is they will be treated as two separate companies, but maybe once or twice a year they would get together for a mega pay-per-view, a Super Bowl of wrestling kind of thing.
Okay. Is Triple H, will he ever get his hands on Kurt Angle again anytime soon?
Well, you got him on this past Monday. I'm sure that's not the last time those two will hook up.
Yeah, they're going to be back at it again, so it's going to happen again soon.
All right, let's get back to the phone lines again and go to line. What's next?
Hey, let's go to line 3 this time. Once again from Ludlow Falls. Ice, you've got the wrestling guys.
Hey, guys.
Hey, Ice.
What you guys up to?
We're just doing
hosting a radio show.
Radio wrestling. You know how it goes, man. Same old stuff.
Kicking back a little bit.
Man, I tried forever to get in last week, and it did not. Where you guys are a huge talk show now.
Well,
are people just trying to kiss our
What is there,
ass
like,
to get
No, I'm
in?
not.
10 people in Ludlow Falls and 9 of them are listening?
No, I'm not trying to suck up, but I did. I tried about 200 times last week to get in, and I just not good. Now I'm very surprised I got in this week.
Well, we appreciate you trying. And not to toot our own horn, but we have a lot of people that say they try to call in for like a year and they haven't got through yet.
How many
It's
people are in
cool.
Ludlow Falls?
About 15.
See, I was
Okay.
close. Well, you're our main fan in Ludlow
Yeah,
Falls.
we could be the mayors of Ludlow Falls.
That's right.
We ought to go try and run for
Honorary mayors of Ludlow
Yeah.
Falls, the wrestling guys.
that. We could do a parade, go around the block. It'd be great.
Yeah.
That's not a whole block, Shawn.
Oh, I'm sorry.
It's about a half.
Okay, still, but I'd do it.
And I told you guys that I thought that the numbers didn't add up between The Rock and Rikishi, and look what's happening now. They're going to show the Rikishi said last week that he was going to say something about like where he came out on Raw right before The Rock or off the rock bottom of him. Rikishi was saying stuff like, "I'll tell him, Rock. I'll tell him." And then The Rock.
Ice, slow down. Calm down. Okay. Rikishi certainly came out. He said that The Rock was involved all along. Of course, The Rock was knocked out. He wasn't able to respond. Now, this Thursday on SmackDown, The Rock does respond. And we'll talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, it's not over yet. This is
Not
wrestling,
at all.
Ice.
Not at all.
Well, are they going to have The Rock win the belt? Because I don't think they're going to have Kurt Angle hold it long.
We'll have to see.
Hey,
We have to watch just like you do,
A
man.
lot of swerves going on right now. Maybe Austin and The Rock coming back at each other. But, hey, thanks for calling in, Ice. Our producer, the second-half run to the world, has told us we've got to get to a break.
Tell you what, right now, caller 9, you get a WWF cookbook. 447-1065. You win from the wrestling guys.
Hey, from the wrestling
On
guys.
Buckeye Country.
That's all right. I was still laughing anyway.
Go ahead. Now you're on. There you go. That's a Shane Douglas.
That's right. Shane Douglas, rumored to potentially be part of the Natural Born Thrillers coming soon.
Really?
Yeah, that's it, man.
What a rumor there?
It's a rumor. Oh, they're still
Will you turn
calling.
your cell phone off?
Well, they're
You're
calling
doing
in.
a radio show.
Well, yeah,
some
yours
commitment.
It's probably Raj calling mine first and then calling yours. Do you
No,
want to
because he
bet
called
on it?
mine first. Now he's calling
No,
yours
mine
second.
messages. It took a while to get on. We're brought to you by Dyer Garofalo Man and Schultz. And if you keep attacking me the way that you have, I will call 1-800-INJURED and get help. I'll put a tiger on my team.
You need a tiger on your team.
You're right, I do.
Yes. Anyway, Julia's working. Julia, do we have a caller number 9? Julia, hello. Do we have a caller 9?
Yes, we do.
Can we talk to them?
Okay, can you give me a moment?
No, we need to do it now.
Okay, well, okay,
we
hold
can do
on.
it now. Just who is it? Julie's having trouble.
Julia, what's going on?
Julie's a little
She's
upset.
got 9 callers in the last 30
Okay, the
seconds.
winner's name is Mike, and Mike, hold on.
Julie's having trouble with her chair.
Well, hey, let's start. We better do something else.
Anyway,
'cause
yeah,
she
we better
needs a little
talk about
chair.
this. Can you take the heat? The WWF is cooking, written by Jim Ross and the WWF Superstars from Regan Books and HarperCollins. It's available at fine bookstores everywhere. And Mike, are you on?
I'm here.
All right, you get the cookbook. Congratulations to you. Are you a cook by nature?
Not really, but I'm about to be.
Oh, you're gonna try some of this? You got
Oh, yeah.
You got the Rock's macaroni salad. You've got Gerald Briscoe's Best Cake Ever, Mankind's Pumpkin Pie. That's
Well,
good. It's fall.
I like that. And I'm going to tell you what, for those of you out there that know my cell phone number, no, you can't be the 9th caller on my cell phone. Mint, stop it. Mint's out there in the truck trying to be the 9th caller. He couldn't get through, so he calls my cell phone and says, hey, he's the 9th caller. Does he get a cookbook?
No, he doesn't.
Okay, Mint, you don't get one.
Hey, Mike, who's your favorite WWF guy? Who's your favorite star?
Mick Foley.
Mick Foley. You can have Mick Foley's knuckle sandwiches. What else does he have in here? He has the pumpkin pie.
Mick Foley's, if you buy it, I'll eat it.
If you buy it, Mick Foley will eat just about
Yes,
anything.
he will.
You know, I'm sitting here reading these. Al Snow's recipe is peas. Just peas. No fun name, nothing else in it, just peas.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, so...
Al's a plain, stable, straightforward guy.
Yeah. Hey, Hey, Mike, congratulations to you. Hang on the line. Julia's going to get some information from you, okay?
Hey, I'll tell you what, guys. How about after the OCW show on this Saturday, you come over and eat at my house?
Oh, we may have to do that. We'll see.
This is Mike West.
Oh,
hey,
okay,
Mike, we didn't know it.
All right, well,
So what,
congratulations to
OCW
you.
is this Saturday?
Yeah, OCW. Are you in Yellow Springs Saturday?
Yes, sir.
All right.
Hey, well, give us a rundown on the card, buddy.
Well, you've got Cruiserweight Tournament, which is set for 3 rounds. It's me versus Shawn Riot and Jamie Thunder versus Too Crazy Tim. And then the winner of those 2 matches will wrestle. And then the winner of that match will wrestle Waikiki Kid. And then you've got, let's see, the Giggler and the Hip Hop Kid against the Star Powers. You've got, who else is there? You've got Khan and Big Jim Hutchinson in 2 out of 3 falls. You've got Man Mountain and Mayhem to settle the score for the heavyweight title.
Wow, sounds like a stacked card there. Once again, you guys are in Yellow Springs this weekend?
Yes, sir.
All right, Mike. Well, hopefully Shawn will make it out there since he can't find his way. He gets lost when he gets away from, well, I don't want to say where Shawn lives.
Thank you very much.
Did you
Anyway,
appreciate
Mike.
that?
Yes, thank you. Hang on the line. Julie's going to talk to you, okay?
Okay, guys.
All right, thank you very
Congratulations,
much.
buddy.
And again, OCW this Saturday, John Bryan Community Center in Yellow Springs, 229-8189. The phone number if you want to find out more about that card. And again, UCW coming back November the 18th. And Big Daddy Rajkot going to join us about 8:15 to talk about that show.
Yeah, that's it. Hey, back to the phone lines again. Let's go to line 6 this time. Speaking Yellow Springs, we've got Chris from Yellow Springs. You've got the wrestling guys.
Yeah, I just wanted to know, are they still selling tickets for the Sunday Night Heat?
Are they still for the Dayton show?
Yeah, for the date show.
Well, it's not Sunday Night Heat.
Or to the one show you guys were talking about that The Rock was going to be there.
Yeah, tickets are still available for that
And
card.
there are good tickets available. We
Yes.
talked to WWF and Nutter Center today. Still going to be a great show. Most everybody is going to be there.
First time in what? Almost 2 years that Austin's been in Dayton. So,
Yeah, so it should be a good time. And come on out and come and see us before the
Right.
show. We'll be doing a live remote, brother.
And I have one more question.
yeah.
What's the deal with DX? Are they going to bring them back or not? What's up with that?
That gimmick is so dated and so old.
You don't like it. I think it's coming back.
Thank you. That's what I wanted to hear.
Wait a minute. You don't
No,
like
the
it? Or
gimmick,
you,
the
I
gimmick
love
is
DX.
fine, but they
I
need to
love
do
DX.
something to either jazz it
loves
up
it?
or get rid of it.
I think it'll be back.
Right. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay.
All right, take care, Chris.
Okay, bye.
Sean,
All right,
you've
bye-bye.
got to get a feel for the fans. You have to embrace what the fans want. You just can't go off on these tangents of your own.
Marty,
where
Marty,
you don't
Marty,
feel what the
Marty.
fans really want.
I'm not
trying to help you get that.
saying the DX gimmick isn't a good one when it's working. But right now, for the last 6 months, a year, you had Road Dogg doing his own thing, X-Pac doing his
There
own
wasn't
thing.
any DX.
Exactly.
There wasn't DX.
But it looks
Billy
stupid
Gunn's
as hell
not
when
there.
you got Road Dogg coming out in his outfit.
Do you
and
think
just
that
stupid.
anybody really even... It wasn't DX then. DX is back.
But they still come out as DX. DX is not back.
DX is back.
DX is
brother.
not back.
All right. Hey, you heard Chris from Yellow Springs. You heard me. You've heard this fan speak. Embrace the knowledge that we're giving you tonight, Sean.
You're good? Okay. 457-1065 is the phone number. You're going to hop
Sean,
on board.
I'm sorry I can't sit at my computer all day.
Anyway, let's go to the phone lines. Julia, get us a caller.
You
Julia?
guys are just really pushy.
Why are you...
Why is he...
Why
it
did
took you like 50 minutes to get
Why did you fling your finger at me that
You know
way?
why I flung my finger at you.
That wasn't very nice.
It was not very nice
You
at all.
want a caller?
Yes.
Okay.
Boy, everybody's a little testy in here tonight. Let's just all settle down, take deep breaths, let the endorphins go, and settle in. What's that mean now?
Are you ready?
Yes.
If you want to be a producer, go on the other side and run the phones too, Shawn.
Right now, the Nightmare Randy Kirby is going.
Thank you very much.
Randy, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay.
Thank
Go
you
ahead,
very
have
much.
fun.
Thanks, Julie. How you guys doing tonight?
Doing fine, Randall. Yourself?
Pretty good. Had a question regarding the whereabouts and actually the health of Buddy Jack Roberts, one of the original Freebirds.
You know, I don't know. I'd heard, a couple years ago that he had throat cancer. I never heard if it was in remission. I never heard if he had treatment. I never heard he died, so that's good news. But I don't know exactly what his health is like right now.
I have not heard anything, even his name come up on any type of report.
So I'm guessing it's one of those cases where no news is not necessarily good news, or...
That's what I would say, yeah.
Okay, well, just wanted to pump up the OCW show this weekend. If you would call up the OCW hotline right now, it's 229-8189. You'll get to hear me and Dave Diamond going back and forth in a verbal sparring match.
Wow, you guys are really struggling now.
Yeah.
I mean, you're
Me and Dave on
having a
hotline
verbal
together.
match with a guy that doesn't have anything to do with wrestling.
Oh, Lord. You're going to catch hell for that one.
Well, I mean, is it the truth? The guy lost his manager's license, right?
He's a ring announcer.
He's a ring announcer.
He's a ring announcer.
So the referee and the ring announcer are having a verbal sparring match.
Oh, boy. Oh, boy.
You're just trying to stir up trouble tonight, aren't you?
No, I'm trying to understand, Shawn.
I'm trying to understand that, too. I'm looking forward to Marty's next report on the hotline, Shawn.
I haven't heard a report from Marty in, what, a year?
Oh, you know what? That's brutal.
It's been forever.
You know
Marty,
what?
I'm sorry,
Here's the
that was a low
problem is, once again, I mentioned it earlier, you don't hear Marty's reports, you just hear all of Marty's news.
Oh, please. Jeez. Randy, if you believe that, I got a bridge I can sell you. Trust me.
No comment there, guys. A real quick shout-out, rep from Riverside, and you guys have a safe night, and hope to see you at the show.
Hey,
We'll do what we
buddy.
can. Thanks a lot, man.
Hey, thanks a lot for calling in.
Bye-bye.
Let's go to line 8. Gorbis, you're on the Wrestling Guys.
Yeah,
Gorbis.
I just wanted to ask a few quick questions.
Gorbis.
Marty likes your name, by the way.
Oh, thanks.
Okay, go ahead.
Where's Sick Boy at?
I have no idea on that one. I thought he had gotten signed by the WWF, but I hadn't heard anything since then.
Because he showed a lot of promise back in the original Flock.
Yeah, he did a good job, young guy, but last I heard he was under a developmental deal, and I don't know what's happened since, if he's still employed by them or not.
And I heard a rumor a couple months ago that Vampiro was getting a record deal. Have you heard anything about that?
Really, that he has supposedly signed a record deal with the Insane Clown Posse. There was an
Psychopathic Records.
Psychopathic Records,
Yeah.
and that had been ongoing for quite some time. They've had a friendship, and he has sang with them before, but really nothing has come out, or any press releases, or any music or record releases with him doing anything at this point that I'm aware of.
No, in the last 2 or 3 months, Vampiro really has been more concentrated with his family. He and his wife just had a little girl. His wife had a number of difficulties with the pregnancy. Thankfully, both are doing just fine. But I think that's tied up most of his concern. He really didn't wrestle at all or that much over the last 2 or 3 months. Now that everything's healthy with the baby, and again, as we reported at the top of the hour, there's talk now that he has a major concussion. So we don't know exactly, what his status is. He may be taking some time off. If he does, maybe he'll have some time to do some rapping with the ICP.
Cool. And what did Gangrel ever do to make the WWF bookers hate him?
I don't know if it's him or Luna that's ticked him off.
And a lot of that really does tie in. Luna had been in and out of trouble for quite some time. As most of you know, and I'm sure you know, they are husband and wife in the real world. They also have children, and when that last, the Rena Miro situation and then other situations after that, they had to make some changes, and he kind of fell into just, I think, some of her problems.
And Vampiro also had a shoulder injury, which kept him on the shelf for a while. They were reportedly working on a new tag team. I can't remember the guy he was going to team with. It was a young guy. And they were working in some of the developmental areas trying to put this team together, but then they broke off plans for that. They just didn't feel like it was working. Anything else?
Well, no, that's really all I wanted to ask.
Okay, appreciate the phone call. Thank you very much. Real quick, line 1, John Dayton. You got the Wrestling Guys.
How you all doing tonight?
Good.
Good, John.
I was wondering, have you got a date yet when the Dudleys are going to be at the Mall Walk?
We can't give that out yet.
You can't give it out
It'll
yet?
be either November 11th or 12th.
All right, and how is Tori doing for the WWF?
I assume fine. You saw her on Raw this past Monday, and it looks like she's ready to get back into the action. I assume her shoulder's all healed up, and she should be ready to go.
And she should be in the middle of something very soon, and I can tell you what I'd like to see her in the middle of.
Oh, jeez.
Well, I meant...
Maybe she could put DX back together.
She could put
something
about
back
anything together she wants.
You're listening to The Wrestling Guys.
On Buckeye Country, WBKI 106.5. We'll be right back. You know what? It's almost time to keep the mics on during the breaks because it's as interesting as the show. We have quite a lot of chatter going on in the studio tonight, but I'll tell you what, we love being here.
It can't be aired. It can't be aired. There's no way. You know what we need to do is we need to put a little tape recorder in here.
Bloopers.
And like how Jerry Springer sells his Too Hot for TV videos,
yes,
we'll sell the Too Hot for the radio version of The Wrestling Guys.
I'll tell you what, the bloopers would be good because we're really moving along. It's been a great night so far. The first hour has flown by. We've got Big Daddy Raj Cox a little later in the show. I'm not going to tell you who's on the other celebrity hotline right at the moment, but a lot to talk about. And Davey Boy Smith.
Davey Boy Smith got himself into a lot of trouble last week. Between Wednesday and Saturday, Davey Boy Smith was arrested twice for allegedly threatening to kill his wife, Diana Hart. Now, we all know Diana's the sister of Brett. They apparently have been having some troubles for a while. Diana and Davey Boy not really together anymore. Apparently, Davey Boy threatened to kill her. She called the police. Davey Boy gets arrested. The next day, Diana goes by the house to pick up the kids or pick up some other stuff. Guess who's home? Davey Boy. What was the line? Jack Nicholson in The Shining?
Right.
Here's Johnny. Here's Davey. That spooked her out a little bit. She didn't think Davey Boy had been released. Apparently, at that time, Davey Boy again reiterated that he would kill her. She called the police. This time, Davey Boy saved the police the cab ride down to the station. He drove himself, turned himself in. So apparently, Davey Boy looking to go Orenthal on his wife. And, that's a guy. The last 2 or 3 years have been really, really tough for him. The drugs, the injuries. We all know about him in rehab. We all know about everything else. It's just a very, very sad story. Hopefully, you hope some kind of intervention happens before that story gets even more tragic, especially for that family.
Oh, there's so much that's went on and such great wrestling ties. And I don't know that you'll ever see him back in the ring or even closely tied to the point that his career was at one time.
No.
And going through these types of things mentally, it really brings you down to a point that you have to take a step back and say, where am I going? What do I want to do with my life? Wrestling is not the answer at this point. He has a lot of other problems he needs to take care of before he ever thinks about it.
But, you've seen Beyond the Mat. You remember the part where Mick Foley's talking about, that he has a lot of guilt about things, and he was talking about maybe doing something else, and then he's asked, well, what would that something else be? That's the problem.
Well, it is a problem.
Davey Boy's been wrestling since 1980, 1981, so you're looking at a guy that's almost 20 years in the business. He's not 20, 22 years old anymore. He's middle-aged. What's the guy going to do? It's tough to reinvent yourself at that age.
And if you look at what a lot of older wrestlers do, some of them really get into business. They do some things successfully. They've set the stage. But they're not unlike athletes or entertainers. And a lot of them end up on ring crews. You look at Pez Whatley. Pez Whatley works for WCW. He's part of the ring crew. He does a lot of the traveling for the Nitro and Raw shows. You see, a lot of them start opening wrestling
Johnny
schools.
Ace, Ricky Santana.
That's right.
You look at, Les Thatcher has his school.
Yeah, that's all they've known. That's what they've learned to love. That's the type of people that they're comfortable around. They're not comfortable around people from other types of walks of life. So really, you're almost limited as to what you can do after you've been in wrestling for so long.
And even, to put even more sad twist to that story, when asked about what he thought about the whole situation between Davey Boy and Diana, Bret Hart said, I really don't talk to them. I haven't talked to them since Owen died. We didn't, there was a lot of tension when Davey Boy went back to the World Wrestling Federation between him and Bret Hart. Said, if the police are getting involved, I assume it's serious. I'm sure they'll take care of it. That's even more, that's just sad.
Well, hopefully things get taken care of, and our hope is that whatever it takes to get the family back in order and to stop those types of events from happening does happen.
I mentioned this on the hotline. You think back in the 80s when the Von Erichs were called the first family of wrestling, and everything that happened with them between Mike and David and Kerry and all that happened with them. And then in the 90s, the Harts took over that title as the first family of wrestling. And you've got the situation with Owen. You've got Brett and all the troubles he's had. Davey Boy Smith now. It's just, not that my family would ever get to that point. I do not want that title. There's something spooky about that, something tragic, something
your
that comes along with that. I don't want it.
Yeah, it gets to that everything is such a high profile. Your life is taken to such unexceedable limits at times. And when you're not at that point, then what do you do? And I think that the reality of that is a reality check we all hopefully don't have to go through to that, to that limit anyway.
Absolutely. 457-1065 is our phone number if you want to talk about that or a whole bunch more. Let's go to line 3.
You want to do it?
Let's do it.
Oh, my God. Are we ready for this?
I don't know. Julie, you got the 7-second delay working over there? We may need it for this.
Hey, going back to line 3, all the way from Tijuana, Mexico, the Spanish Fly, you've got the wrestling guys.
Hey, man!
Hey, Fly.
You know what?
What?
That clock change thing... Oh, sorry. It's like 9 o'clock. So usually I'm at my drinking level of 8 o'clock when I call in. But now it's like 9, something like that. So I'm extra trash tonight for the radio show.
So you picked up an extra hour of drinking time.
Oh, you got that right, buddy.
But it's only 8 o'clock in reality, so you can pick up an extra hour anytime you want it.
Well, usually I'm up 24 hours a day, drinking anyway.
So
there's 24 hours in a day, right?
Well, but except the other day, you had that extra hour thrown in, so you had to be loving that.
Holy crap, there's 25 hours now.
Well, not now, but there was the other day. What's on your mind, Fly?
Confusing me.
You live in a state of confusion, my friend.
No, I live in a drunken haze.
In Tijuana.
Hey, man, when's Hardcore Holly coming back?
I've heard that I think November 13th, like the time that they're coming back to Dayton and Columbus, is the same time he's been cleared to come back and wrestle.
Hey, is Kurt Angle going to be there? For
Yes,
the
he
love
will.
of God, tell me yes.
Yes, he will. And we'll be giving away a plethora of Kurt Angle shirts that day.
Spell that.
Kurt Angle or shirt? Or plethora?
Plethora.
Wait, Fly, don't even try and say that word. I'm afraid of what may come out of your mouth.
Hey, you guys, you're giving away that cookbook thing?
Yes.
I heard something about some beer bread. What is up with that?
Is there beer bread?
Yeah, there was beer
Is there
bread.
beer bread in here?
Beer bread?
Wasn't Julia knows all about the beer
It
bread?
was Steve Austin, wasn't it?
I think it was, yeah.
Copy that down and send it to the Fly. I need that. Right now I'm just living on beer, so I can make
But
some bread with that, too.
Fly, Sneaky Pete, he tried to beg for one too. We just can't
What?
do that.
Stinky feet? What?
Sneaky Pete.
Sneaky feet.
Sneaky Pete. Oh, jeez.
Well, you could get it for him, can't you? I mean, can't you send it to him?
We could, but Marty, we can't do that. We have other people that want to win.
Oh,
It's the
crap.
Acrolite's beer bread.
Oh, I just tripped over a Beatbox shoe. Man, now I'm going to have to get a tiger on my side. I'm going to call 1-800-INJURED.
Well, tell him the wrestling guy sent you if you give him a call, will you?
Please
Oh, I
do.
will. I'm the Fly. I'm the guy, and I will see you. Then you get Darren Drozdov, man.
Thanks, Fly. I don't know if they were looking for a celebrity spokesperson, but that Fly could be it.
You think so?
Fly could be it. I'm sure Fly, over the course of his drunkenness, has brought them a lot of business.
Well, I'll tell you what, I know what can happen firsthand when you're in that type of a stupor. So, Fly, if you need somebody to help you, 1-800-INJURED, write it on your forehead, do whatever you need to do, but keep it close.
Also, we talked a lot about November 11th, Cincinnati, November 12th in Dayton. What the hell is that? What is it? Marty, shows me his ankle or his calf, and he's got this giant bruise on there. What did you do?
I was just
Were you in
telling
a drunken stupor?
No, actually, I tripped. At home. In my own bedroom.
Oh, I don't even want to know.
Yeah,
Just don't
true
even
story.
go there.
I'm being either that or I got kicked at home. I'm not sure which.
Probably the latter.
I would have thought so.
November 11th, Cincinnati, November 12th, Dayton, November 13th, and Columbus. And that Columbus may be a little bit of a scheduling problem. That right now is the tentative date for Yokozuna's funeral in California. Now, I assume that a lot of the guys would be able to take a jet or something to get from California to Columbus in time for Raw. I would think that Rikishi and The Rock at least would definitely be at Yoko's funeral. I don't know for sure. But hopefully that won't impact anybody's scheduling being in Columbus or in Dayton. Because, again, that 13th date is a tentative date for Yokozuna's funeral.
And then right after that, SmackDown in Indianapolis on Tuesday night. So the Midwest run is on. We're only a little bit over a week away. And possibly one of the biggest love affairs in professional wrestling, Aaron Boone and Stephanie McMahon, just waiting to happen.
Also on the 13th, and I don't have the information here with me, I'll try and pass it along on the hotline, Jim Ross is going to be doing a book signing for the Can You Take the Heat cookbook. So if you want to have a chance to meet good old JR, you can win the book from us, take it up there. If you don't win it from us, buy it, have him sign it. It'll be a great time, and I'll pass that information along to you on the hotline.
Yes, you will.
Back to the phones.
You want to go back to the phones?
Let's go to line 2. It is the Bink.
Bink is back on line 2.
Hey, Binky, how are you?
Hey, what's up, man?
Not a lot.
Well, let me just say that I've been doing a lot over the past couple of weeks. That's why I haven't been on the show.
Uh-oh.
Yeah.
A lot.
What have you been up to, Bink?
Just reporting the video game news, stuff like that.
Where are you reporting video game news?
Just everywhere, all over the tri-state area, all over Oxford.
Okay.
Yeah. I got a question about WWF The Music Volume 5. When's the release date?
I'm trying to think when that release date is. I know that a lot of the stuff, and I'm sure the WWF really probably doesn't want me to mention this, a lot of it's already available on the internet through Napster. You can go and do a search for WWF The Music Volume 5 and find a lot on there. It's out there.
There it goes.
You're going to have to pay for Napster soon enough anyway.
We won't get tickets now.
But anyway, it's coming out before the end of the year. I know that much.
Okay.
Okay?
Can you please remind Marty about how easily he can be replaced?
Uh-oh. Marty? No, Marty can't be replaced.
Yeah, he can.
By who?
By anybody you choose.
Hey, Bink.
Yes?
Goodbye.
See, what was that? Julia, what'd you do?
That's called
Flushed
a
him.
swirly.
That's a swirly, man.
Yes.
You
and
swirled him.
And Bink, I didn't even want to blow him up.
Yeah, that's sad. I mean, you and I go back and forth, but,
Yes.
it's the wrestling guy.
That's right.
It can't,
Bink can't jump in. If Bink said something about me, you're going to be there. If he says something about you, Bink,
Exactly.
don't get into where you don't belong.
Here's what the rules are.
Okay.
I can say anything about Marty.
That's
Marty
right.
can say anything about me. We can say anything about us. We can say anything about Julia. Willie's included in our little love fest.
Yeah, sometimes.
Sometimes. But anybody else comes in from the outside,
What do you think? Think Bink's still sore about a couple weeks ago when we got him out here because he was stuttering and stammering?
I don't
Didn't
know
what he
what
wants
that
to talk
is.
about? Or?
Yeah, he called on the hotline. He left a message on the hotline, said he had a big bang for tonight.
Is it?
Was that
a
it?
Big bang?
I don't know.
Well, maybe in Middletown, at the grade school there, that is the Big Bang.
Hey, Al Gore was there.
Well, Al Gore was there, but he didn't have his wrestling guys sign that day.
He should have.
Yeah, that's right.
Get
If
a
he
few
would
more
have,
votes.
then maybe he would. That's right. He had so many opportunities, the Big did. We almost tried to make
No,
him
I'm
a
saying Al
legend.
Gore should have had a wrestling guy. Could you imagine how many more votes Al Gore would get if he had the sign?
Or if he had wrestling guy's T-shirt on, something like that.
By the way, we got to get to a break. When we come back, Gore's running mate Lieberman, he's a part of the PTC. They may be getting involved in a battle bigger than any pay-per-view we've had in a long, long time. We'll talk about that when we get back. You're listening to The Wrestling Guys.
On Buckeye Country WBKI 106.5. We'll be right back, Dayton. Back to the Wrestling Guys, and I've got to bring you back in because Shawn's head is right in the middle of Mick Foley's Christmas Chaos book.
If you haven't seen this book yet, it's available out. Mick Foley, we've talked about it before, is a huge, huge, huge fan of Christmas in general. So, of course, we should say, as he tells us that, we're required to say best-selling author, Mick Foley. But Mick Foley, with illustrations by Jerry the King Lawler, wrote this book, and here's kind of how it opens out. The elves were running everywhere. They were loud and brash and rude. And Tommy Top, the tallest elf, was running in the nude. The elves were throwing toys and games, and to make things even worse, Billy Bop, the smallest elf, was teaching them the curse. That's an example of Christmas chaos from Mick
I thought
Foley.
this was for kids.
It's for kids. Anyway, so what we're going to do, we're going to give away a copy of this, a copy of Can You Take the Heat, the cookbook, and
tickets to WWF Cincinnati First Star Center.
November the 11th?
Yeah,
Cincinnati
November
Gardens.
Cincinnati Gardens. I'm sorry, you're
That's
right.
okay.
For
That's
not,
okay.
Don't
go to the First Star Center. But anyway, you'll be able to pick those up at Classic Cards and Collectibles. Caller 9 will win those, so Julia's going to do that. Real quick, we talked about the PTC right before the break. Apparently, according to some New York newspapers, Vince McMahon is going to pursue legal action this week against the PTC. Now, earlier this week, the PTC sent out a report taking credit for letting Slim Jim, which has been a long time supporter of wrestling. We all seen the commercials and everything else. And Chef Boyardee pulling their ads off of SmackDown. Vince McMahon says that's not true. A number of advertisers that are not advertising on SmackDown are still advertising on Raw, and some advertisers are cutting back their budgets, they're changing their direction, they're doing other things. 100% of ad renewal by sponsors is not likely. Also, some of the companies that the PTC is claiming that they bullied or whatever, they persuaded to stop advertising with the World Wrestling Federation, never advertised with the World Wrestling Federation in the first place.
I tell you, this thing is going to go on and on. I don't blame Vince and Lieberman. If there was a reason not to vote for you, that's part of it.
Yeah, and I don't want to get into a big political debate here, but Lieberman and the PTC, that group has done a lot. We know about wrestling. We know they've been on campaigns against video game violence and other things. And some of what they say is legitimate. I'm not going to argue with that.
There's some good points to those.
I don't agree with trying to bully sponsors from not advertising on shows, but you got to think with the World Wrestling Federation, MTV, and other companies using the SmackDown Your Vote, Youth Vote 2000, and I don't know what their numbers are, what the exact numbers have been as far as signing up young people to vote, but those people are not going to have a great opinion of the PTC. It will be very interesting come next Tuesday to find out how they vote once they get into the booth.
And whatever those numbers are, with as tight an election as it appears to be, as we're speaking, they could be sway numbers. Those could be the numbers that could make or break a candidate.
Absolutely. The World Wrestling Federation has said that all along, so we'll find out next Tuesday. Julia, do we have a winner? Julie's on the phone.
Well,
is she actually talking to winners, or is she dialing up some 900 numbers?
I heard her. She's like, well, you sound like a nice guy, too.
Okay. I'm going to hurt you guys.
Oh.
I have control of the board.
Yes, who's the winner?
The winner is Courtney, and do you want her on the phone?
Yes, put Courtney on.
Courtney won.
Courtney, how are you?
Hi, I'm fine.
Courtney.
Congratulations. You get a copy of Mick Foley's Christmas Chaos. You get the cookbook. Also, 2 tickets to the World Wrestling Federation, November the 11th, Cincinnati Gardens. And you can pick all of that up at Classic Cards and Collectibles. When, Marty?
Anytime after noon tomorrow.
Oh, Marty's got to get out of bed around then. So.
Oh, Shawn, will you stop?
Anyway, Courtney, congratulations to you, and thanks a lot.
Thank you, guys.
All right, bye-bye.
Courtney.
Bye.
Let's go to the Celebrity Hotline. We talked earlier, Unified Championship Wrestling coming back into action November the 18th, 801 Union Hall. And Big Daddy Raj Cox is on the phone. Daddy, how are you?
I'm cool. How you guys doing?
What's up, Big Daddy? A lot of talk about you early in the show. People saw you working out last week, and everybody asking the big question in the Miami Valley, when is UCW coming back?
Well, November the 18th, we make our big return at the 801 Union Hall down there on South Jefferson Street. We got about 6 good matches going on. Of course, Big Jim, the UCW Heavyweight Champion, will be there. Myself, Big Brother Almighty, Independent Icon. Maniac makes his final match, I suppose.
Nothing is ever final in this business.
There's never a retirement match that's
all,
retirement.
You know, all it takes for Maniac is to see one good match where he thinks he can get in, and he'll be back out of retirement.
Well, Bundy was talking about him last week at the Grand Vic. We told him that Maniac couldn't make it out.
Right.
And that he had said hi, and, a lot of kudos there from the big man himself, King Kong Bundy, about Maniac Mark Mustang.
Right. We even showed that match between Maniac and Bundy on DATV, so, a lot of people like King Kong Bundy's still in great shape. I don't care what nobody says.
Speaking of DATV, Extreme Championship Wrestling really has not been available to people here in the area since they got canceled off of TNN. And you've used your connections a little bit with ECW to try and correct that.
Right. I tried to, I've been trying to get ECW to come back to Dayton. They haven't been here in a whole year since last Halloween. And I can't bring the matches to Dayton, but I can bring the TV back to Dayton. So that's what I did. I got with the productions crew, and they're starting to send us FedEx tapes every Friday so we can put the shows on every Sunday afternoon at 4 p.m.
And this is the syndicated show, Hardcore TV, a little bit different than what you see on TNN. That's a good thing. And, again, what's DATV channel 20?
Right. And what we're trying to do is, I'm going to look for a new time slot so we can interconnect with everybody's cable all the way to Springfield to Middletown. So we're working with Melissa down at DATV trying to interconnect so everybody can get the feel of ECW again.
Well, that's great. I'll tell you, a lot of people want to see it, Raj. and it's great that you're able to put it together for them.
Well, it's good to try to help some. Like I said, I was a big wrestling mark, still a big wrestling mark, even though I'm in the business, and I even though I work ECW, I guess the main reason I like putting it on TV because I'm on there so much.
Hey, there you go. Get some ECW cross exposure with UCW.
That's right.
But the big thing we want to talk about is the return of UCW to Dayton, Ohio.
Right. I mean, I've started up the hotline again, thanks to you guys, for supporting us and putting the hotline back out there again. We got a little different number, a new beginning, a new number. You know how the thing goes. And that number is 640-2794. And I've already had some heat with Claudia Webb and some dude on there, the Wild Card.
Well, Wild Card causes heat with everybody, Ben.
Well, I said something about Lex Luger's chopped up hair on Monday night, and I just said how goofy he looked. I mean, and they're after me. So on the 18th,
they're relentless, man. They don't never let off.
They are literally the two biggest Lex Luger fans I've ever met.
And I think, back in the early 80s, Luger was tough. He might not could wrestle that great, but he had intensity, kind of like Rhino. And now he just like some old guy wants to be young again. That's how I get it.
He likes to pose.
Yeah.
I think Lex is more interested now in posing than wrestling.
He's been a bodybuilder. That's always been part of his gimmick, the posing.
Right.
He's, guy owns a gym. He's been, him and Sting go back a long way in their partnership. Yeah, they did.
But most bodybuilders have good hair.
Or no hair.
Right.
Yeah.
But anyway, we got tickets on sale at Roosters right now. We've already sold like over 150 tickets. Everything looks like it's swinging pretty good. And right before the show, we're going to have another Roosters get-together, kind of like we did back in '98. And that's where I bought like 500 wings. People came in, bought tickets.
Yeah, what did the rest of the people eat after you and Bo were done?
Hey, don't tell nobody. I will never expose that information because Maniac was there too.
Oh, man, I never seen. There was literally a man-high pile of chicken bones laying in there, and I remember that night very well.
Marty, don't you even bring that up because I believe you had a few too. Me and you've been on the road together.
I might have done that, buddy.
Well, thanks for you guys putting this on. I'm not going to take up your time. You got a lot of calls to get to. Man, hey, I'm not going to call back no more because I can't even get through.
Well, once again, give us a date, give us a time, Raj. 801.
It's going to be Saturday, November the 18th. Bell time 6:30. The doors open at 5:30. New Jack said he might come in and do some autographs if he's not doing the Toledo Warren thing, but you never know with New Jack. I don't promise nothing. He's did a TV show and turned on me, and he might turn on me down there, so I'm not looking forward to that.
You guys have a call-in show coming in anytime soon?
No, we're not going to do one right before the show. We're just going to go right into it. Like I said, we're going to boost it up on our Monday night shows. We show the Hardcore TV.
Mm-hmm.
We got a lot of stuff going on where we're going to do a lot of, pumping up UCW show coming up on the Monday night show.
All right, sounds good. November the 18th, Unified Championship Wrestling comes back to town. Big Daddy Raj Cox, thanks for joining us.
Thanks. Hey, tell Devon that I'm the only guy who beat him in the Dayton Mall of the infamous Dayton Mall thing in basketball.
Oh.
And I think he was detoured because of what was happening in the back, but I'm not going to get into no more of that.
We don't know nothing.
we know nothing.
You guys take it easy.
Thanks, Raj.
Peace out.
Julia, you really like video game arcades?
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, you'll be there.
We're going to have a blooper moment here off the air. We'll tell you in a second. You're listening to The Wrestling Guys.
On Buckeye Country, WBKI 106.5. And we're back again, The Wrestling Guys, the tag team champions of talk radio, and we have just educated the 69th wonder of the world about one of the classic Dudley Boy visits.
We talk about things that we can't mention on the radio. But if you ever see us, sometime you see us out, ask us about it. We'll try and tell you if we can. And we're not going to rehash it right now.
It was a classic. Everybody had a great time that afternoon. And, the WWF wrestlers.
Some better than others.
That's right. I mean, you get into the Dayton area, they're going to be in town. Actually, they may end up, Dayton may be the home base for that entire trip.
Yeah, which could be big.
Because why? They're gonna. It's a base. You're an hour and a half from Columbus. You're an hour from Cincy. You're an hour and a half from Indianapolis.
Mm-hmm. So could that turn out to be? You may see the wrestling, the WWF and the Wrestling Guys all over the place that weekend. Julie, you still feel okay about that Dayton Mall arcade, by the way?
Yeah, I think I'll be okay. Yeah.
Living up to her name. Anyway, More trouble. Speaking of somebody who's getting in some hot water, Rocky Johnson. We've talked about the problems he's having down at that alleged problems down at that recreational center in Davie, Florida. He's accused of fondling some people, accused of making inappropriate comments.
Trying to give a goodwill gesture, trying to show some guidance.
Well, he has been placed under suspension while this whole thing is under review. And I guess during this time, he has a city-owned cellular phone that he has not turned back in like he was supposed to. And he has rung up over $700 in cell phone calls. That's a lot.
Hey, you start popping them 1-900 numbers on there, brother, and it doesn't take long to get to $700.
You speaking from experience?
I'm just mentioning it. I heard about it.
Anyway, so the city is saying we want the phone back. Rocky Johnson says, well, I didn't know they wanted the phone back.
Yeah.
Whoops.
Well, you know people that have had those phone problems before.
Yes, I do. That's another story. If you see me, stop me. We'll talk about it. But anyway.
Gotta love those stories.
457-1065. Let's take some phone calls.
Hey, wait a minute. Let's go to Mint. Mint finally called on the regular lines.
Mint?
Yeah, Mint tried to give me the 9th caller on my cell phone.
Mint, welcome to the Wrestling Guys.
On line 7.
Julia, did you lose him? Julia lost the Mint.
No, Mint's here.
Julia,
Hello,
Mint?
guys.
Hey!
How we doing? Am I the 9th caller? Hey, I've been trying to call for an hour.
Where are you calling from, Mint? The truck?
Yes, I'm at the Speedway Station in Dayton, Ohio, getting ready to make a delivery.
Eaton can be a scary place. You may want to watch yourself around there. I know some people from Eaton. That's
Say, well, we tried to. It meant you can't call on the cell phone and try to sneak in to be the 9th caller.
Well, I tried. I figured I might know somebody on the show, so I dialed a phone number.
Try to pull those strings. Nice try.
So that's it. You got any questions for us tonight?
Serious.
Lieutenant Commissioner Monday on Raw. Mick Foley was not at SmackDown last night, so Deborah was the acting commissioner. She is all over SmackDown Thursday night. So
unleash them puppies, baby.
The puppies are back.
That's right. Well, hey, guys, I appreciate it, and I want to give a little shout-out there to my brother, Brooke. He's driving down to Evansville, Indiana. He drives for ABF, and also another marathon driver there, Bucky. We call him Batman. He's heading towards Blanchester listening also.
Hey, we appreciate it, and thanks for listening, Mint. We appreciate you guys tuning us in.
All right, keep up the good show. We'll see you later.
All right, buddy.
Thank you, sir.
Those guys, religiously, they're all over. They run that night shift, and they're hitting everybody. And they are always listening to the show. You got to love it.
Absolutely. Let's go to line 6 and talk to Tim. Tim, welcome to the Wrestling Guys.
Hey, Tim.
Hey, Tim. Tim 1?
Tim 1. No, Tim
twice?
6. He's Tim line 6.
Tim's line 6. Julia, are you... Julie's having trouble tonight with the phone.
No, he must have hung
That
up.
whole arcade thing has her flustered.
It does.
That's what it is.
She is blushed.
I tell you, it's amazing.
think
I've
I
never
was
seen her
too-
get embarrassed.
I was too young to hear that. That's what I was just too young.
I would not have told you. That was a little more information than I think you needed to know.
By the way, the Wrestling Guys hotline 285-0991, available 24 hours a day, 7 days a week for your wrestling hotline enjoyment.
Hear all the news it is news straight from Marty Adams
Oh,
from Shawn
God.
Stedham.
You are starting that. What the heck is that? Please. If you know the news, do a damn hotline report.
Hey, I'm out gathering news.
I'll tell you what, the last time Marty did a hotline report, he got his feelings hurt.
Yes, I did. And I was
now,
upset.
here's why. Here's why.
You did it on purpose, Stedham.
Yeah, Gordon Soley died on purpose so that your hotline had to get bumped.
You know what? It was one of my better ones, too, you have to admit.
The last time Marty did a hotline, about, 11, 12 o'clock that day, we got the unfortunate news that Gordon Soley had passed away, which was an urgent story. I tried calling Marty, could not reach you. So I went ahead, went on the hotline, and gave the report. Marty calls me, hey, did you hear the hotline report? I said, well, I did. It was good, but I had to bump it. Gordon passed away, which we were kind of expecting. And his feelings have been hurt
That's
since
right.
then.
Well, but the fun story about this, when we do the hotline, you only have so many minutes to put the report in.
Yeah.
And a lot of times news is overwhelming, and there's a lot more news, so you're trying to squeak it in. If you go over the time limit of what the report's supposed to be, then you've lost everything that you've done, and you have to start over. Well, I did that twice that night. So about 2 in the morning, here I am for the third time trying to update this damn hotline, And finally, then I listened to it again. It's almost 3 in the morning. I'm like, whoa, this is great.
Yeah.
And then at 11 in the morning, Stedham just takes me out.
But it was a worthy story. It was a worthy story, you have to admit.
Yes.
We don't, when we do a second update, it's a big story, so it's Gordon Soley's
It did, but it was just kind of one of those days.
We have, on the hotline, we have 10 minutes to do the report. That's how much time we have to do each individual one. And I know what you're talking about because you hit that, you've already spent, an hour or whatever calling people, going on the internet, getting some news, and then, usually once or twice you stumble over something, you have to restart it anyway. Then you're doing the hotline, everything's going good, you're wrapping it up, and then it cuts off.
And then you're done. But it's a labor of love, and we talk about it. Willie loves doing it on the weekends, Shawn during the week, and I will do it occasionally. and when I say occasionally, I'll go a couple weeks and do a day a week, and then I'll go a month and
Marty,
I won't do it
Haley's
at all.
Comet will be back before you do another hotline.
That's not true, Shawn. But I do make it a point to call Willie and yourself whenever there is breaking news.
Thank you, Marty.
I don't do that?
No, you do that. Yes, you do.
Thank you very much.
Let's go to line 1, and we can go to either one.
Take your choice, Julia, whichever mic you want to give us.
We have a couple mics on the line. You want line 1 or line 2?
It's either John's or Mike's.
Line 1, Mike. Welcome to the Wrestling Guys.
Hi, how are you guys doing?
Good, Mike.
Good, Mike.
I want to talk about the greatest technical wrestler ever, Bret the Hitman Hart.
Okay.
I called the hotline a couple days ago, and I heard you, Shawn, saying that you don't agree that Vince screwed Bret.
No, I don't.
I have to disagree.
Go ahead. That's fine. Tell her why.
Okay. I watched the Wrestling with Shadows thing.
Yes.
And Bret Hart said that he would lose to Shawn, but he didn't want to lose it up in Canada.
Mm-hmm. But here's the other thing, too. Vince McMahon was worried that Bret would do the thing on Sunday on the pay-per-view, that he would, not lose to Shawn. And then come Monday, when the first day Bret Hart is able to go into WCW was that Monday, he would show up on Nitro or something would happen where Bret doesn't lose the title. What Vince was trying to do was to stop his world champion from simply handing the belt back to Vince and saying, you know what, this isn't good enough, I'm going to WCW, which would totally devalue the integrity of the World Heavyweight Championship in the World Wrestling Federation. Bret, I'll give you a chance, listen. Bret Hart has been in the business long enough to know that if you are leaving an organization, you drop the belt on your back. Bret had creative control. Yes, he did. But he could have made that match end any way he wanted to, in any kind of screw job fashion, just so he can drop the belt, get pinned, hand the belt to Shawn, and he can go to WCW. Vince McMahon allowed Bret to renegotiate that contract with WCW, and the bottom line, Vince did, in my opinion, I know I'm in the minority, Vince did what he had to do to protect the integrity of his championship, which is the most important thing for that company.
What Vince should have done was handled it a lot better before it ever got to that point, and you wouldn't have had the problem. I agree with you. He put the screws to him.
He did. He lied to him right to his face.
I think the whole situation was unfortunate. I agree in part with what Marty said. The two sides, with Bret's history in that company, the two sides should have been able to work it out, and it should have been able to, happen in a much more amicable fashion than it did. But it didn't. And when it all comes down, Vince McMahon did what I feel he had to do. Bret Hart had to lose the belt at Survivor Series. That was what had to happen. And Bret Hart absolutely refused it, so Vince did what he had to do. But I will also say this. There is a number of people in this business that feel like that entire thing is a work. And I don't believe them. But there are wrestlers that you can talk to.
I don't believe it.
And I will tell. And I know of one who was involved in it.
I was with Bret Hart almost literally a short period of time after that, doing an appearance, and there were hard feelings. There was nobody around us. It was just him and I, and we were talking about some different things. There's legitimate bad feelings and bad blood there.
And I agree with you. You look at what, we talked about it at the beginning of the show. Bret Hart's going to be on Jim Rome this Friday. His quote about Vince McMahon, part of it, it's amazing what a devious, sick psychopath the guy really is. But I'm telling you, there are wrestlers in this business which will almost swear to you that this entire thing just reeks of a work.
I don't know about that.
I don't know either. Bret Hart was a great wrestler. You can't take that from him, one of the best of all time. But I feel with that situation, the whole thing is sad. The way it all came down was sad. I just feel like Vince did what he had to do.
Yeah, well, I don't know.
I mean, we can agree to disagree. There's nothing wrong with your opinion.
Yeah,
I mean, there's most of the people listening, and Marty already said they agree with you. I'm sure. This is just my opinion. Vince did what he had to do.
Let me tell you something there, Mike. Disagreeing with Shawn is normal. Don't doubt yourself. You're probably 99% right, just like 99% of everybody else is. Shawn will normally take the other side just to have an argument or cause a problem.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I'll disagree.
That's fine, man.
Cool. Anything else, Mike?
Yeah, is Stevie Ray ever going to get back into wrestling?
I would think so. I don't think the guy has an injury or anything that's preventing him from
I don't
that.
either. They're just looking for a spot for him right now. There's
Sure
no
as hell can't
natural
commentate.
Yeah, because they need to get him off commentating. Cause
No, he's definitely not good with a stick. You know, his brother, they're a good tag team when they're together. They're an imposing tag team. But in my opinion, the tag team division in WCW is weak. There's no natural rivalry for him. This is, once again, my opinion. And his brother getting a push as a singles leaves him out in the cold, and there's nobody to put him with that really could carry him, you know, his style, and he's the power man of the group.
And one really quick thing is Stephanie McMahon going to be at the Inventor Center?
No. No, you're not going to see Vince. You're not going to see Steph. More than likely, you won't see those. We shouldn't say definitely not, but as far as we know, they will not be there.
Come Monday and watch her and Aaron Boone.
Yeah, we're going to hook that up.
Okay.
All right. Thanks a lot, Mike, for the phone call. Appreciate it. There's nothing wrong with people having a difference of opinion.
No,
that's fine.
Obviously, we can appreciate that.
Absolutely. And that's something, that's been with Brett's retirement announcement last week. That's something that's been debated on the hotline all week long. You know, people are bringing up Survivor Series and that whole incident. I just feel like that was what Brett knows the history of the business. To quote Vince, what the time-honored tradition is, Brett should have agreed to drop the belt at Survivor Series. And again, like I said, you can do it any way you want to. The ref can get knocked out. You can have every single guy from the back come down and jump Brett and leave Brett laying in the ring, and he can walk out with his head held high that he didn't legitimately lose to Shawn Michaels, but he refused to do that. He put Vince in that situation. Is it good what Hebner did, saying, I swear on my children that I won't do this to you? No, I don't agree with that.
No, but, people will do what they have to do when their backs are put against the wall. And that's exactly what happened. I think the one thing you will agree with what I said, it shouldn't have gotten to that point.
Absolutely.
With the amount of history those two had and the things that have been done over the course of time, that should have been all settled. Everybody knows what needs to be done. There's a respect factor, and there's some legitimate methods of how things happen, especially when you're going to drop the strap or you're going to leave an organization.
But we all know business is business, and there's two things here. Do we tick off Bret Hart, or do we protect the integrity of the World Championship?
At that point, he wouldn't have cared who he ticked off, and it was Bret Hart or anybody else that was in the business.
Right.
And he did it, and that's just the way it is.
You know what? That's what really created Mr. McMahon, allowed to defeat with Stone Cold Steve Austin, and really was what propelled the World Wrestling Federation to the level it's at now.
Hey, one thing
one incident.
You know what we agree on?
What's that?
We agree to disagree.
And we got to love that. We got to get to a break. More of your phone calls. Woodchuck, Mike will talk to you, 457-1065.
We're going to give away some more books. We're going to give away some tickets to see WWF in Cincinnati, and you're listening to the Tag Team Champions of Talk. Yes, you were just listening to morning show host Karen Kelly, and you can tune in tomorrow morning because the wrestling guys are coming in. Yes, we're going to be here.
Come in.
I'll come in, and when I come in, it'll be the Marty Adams and Karen Kelly show. That's right. If you want to hear the best, no, I do it. And when I come in, last time we did it, I told her I'm taking over the show.
You would have to be here in 9 hours.
No, I'm not going to be here at 6 a.m. I don't need to be here at 6 a.m. to take over that show because you know what? Nobody's listening at 6 a.m. You know what they're doing? They're biting a bullet. That's it, man. At 6 a.m., what are you doing? Can you listen? Tell the truth. I can't even move. I'm comatose. I'm trying to get coffee. But you know why she doesn't mind if I come in after 6 a.m.? Because I always bring breakfast. That's the way it is.
Let's go to line 2 and talk to Mike. Mike, save this show. You're on the Wrestling Guys.
Hey, what's happening, fellas?
Not a lot.
That's good. I don't believe that Mike Sanders should be the commissioner of WCW.
Why not?
Well, for one, because if you've seen how he acted before...
He beat the cat.
Yeah, he beat the cat, but I'm sure he had help, right?
Oh, sure.
Everybody has help.
See, I greatly think that WCW is going to jump up a little bit with Ric Flair being the head honcho up there.
We know Ric Flair's the CEO, so we'll see how much he can balance Mike Sanders out there in World Championship Wrestling.
but I think he's going to end up selling to Vince McMahon. It'd be a good thing for Vince to get the WCW for the simple fact that then he'd have 2 promotions and he can move his guys around. But it'd be a bad thing because WCW ain't doing that good to begin with.
Well,
WWF's just flat out whooping them.
The company's lost a lot of money, and that's a factor Vince has to look at. A lot of the wrestlers don't want to see Vince buy WCW because then they feel like that he would renegotiate contracts to a lesser amount. So
right.
There's goods and bads with both sides of it. And, like Marty said, and I have to agree, mark that on the tape, that I don't think it's going to happen either. There's too many obstacles, too many hoops to jump through, and as bad as Vince's ego wants to be stroked by buying WCW, I don't think he's going to be able to do it.
Yeah,
one time I said I would never say Vince McMahon can't do something, but this is one thing where I just don't think it's going to happen.
Right. I want to congratulate Raj on getting ECW to DATV so more people can watch it. I know in my area, I live in Dayton, and you were talking about a lot of people not getting TNT because of certain areas they live in. I tell you what, I get it here. I got Time Warner Cable, but it comes in real fuzzy for the U.S., for the WWF, because I know a lot of people want to see it.
Right.
And it comes in fuzzy for me, so, I don't know what anybody can do, really, for that.
Well, Rod did a great job with it, and it's great that he brought it back.
Hey, we're going to try to see what else they can do. We've made some mentions to a lot of different cable companies because we know people do want to see it. But thanks for calling, and hopefully your fuzzy station gets better, brother.
Tell you what we're going to do is, what do we have left for tonight? 2 more cookbooks and...
no, one. You gave one away.
We gave one away. So we have 2 Christmas Chaos books and a cookbook. And what we'll do, we'll give away each book separately.
Okay.
And we'll also throw in a pair of tickets with each book.
You got it.
So, Julia, you can take callers 5, 6, and 7. Get the information. They'll pick up they'll pick everything up at Classic Cards. Caller 5 gets a Christmas Chaos book and a pair of tickets. Caller 6, a Christmas Chaos book, a pair of tickets. Caller 7, the cookbook and a pair of tickets. Got that?
You got all that? Because I don't.
Then when you get all the winners, let us know. But you'll get tickets to go see the World Wrestling Federation at the Cincinnati Gardens, almost at First Star Center.
You're working on it.
November the 11th, of course, in Cincinnati. Then next week, we have the Dayton tickets.
Yep.
And as we get ready for a big weekend, and that's going to be huge.
Oh, it's going to be a great time. We're going to be doing a live remote. Paydays bringing us back in at the Nutter Center. We're going to have a good time that day. We've got a plethora of hats.
You like that word?
Yeah, I do. It's kind of a neat word. Plethora of hats and Hardy Boy T-shirts and Kurt Angle T-shirts and Rock T-shirts.
And the thing is,
knows,
Julia is trying to steal a Hardy Boys T-shirt.
Yeah, she's trying.
Joe is trying to steal the Kurt Angle shirt.
And what did you want today?
I want a Kurt Angle shirt.
Okay.
Don't tell Joe that.
No, I wouldn't tell him. But it's all going to happen that day. Who knows what else we'll have to give away by then, but we're going to have a lot of fun. We do know that some of the wrestlers are going to come out, so if you want to meet the wrestlers, and I'm thinking about, what do you say that we give away some tickets for Raw in Columbus Monday night to the Best Wrestling Guys sign at the Nutter Center on Sunday?
I think that's a good idea.
And
we should do that.
I think that's going to be the promotion of the day. We did it at the at Hare Arena.
Mm-hmm.
For the Best Wrestling Guys sign, we're going to give away a pair of tickets to Raw Monday night in Columbus. You can see the love affair blossom of Aaron Boone and Stephanie McMahon.
And hopefully that will happen, but what we're going to do is, the sign has to say the Wrestling Guys, Buckeye Country 106.5, something about, Marty and Shawn. If you want to put Julia on there too, you can. We don't want to leave her out. She's nodding her head. She wants to be included. She wants to feel the love. But, so anyway, we have the first 2, right? Julia, who's caller 5? Caller 5 is Steve. Steve from where? Is he on? Steve, are you there?
Hey, Steve.
Yeah.
Hey, Steve, congratulations. You pick up Mick Foley's Christmas Chaos, also a pair of tickets for Cincinnati. So congratulations to you.
All right.
All right, hang on the line. Julia's going to get some information from you. And caller 6 is Jason. Jason, how are you?
I'm alive.
That's half the battle.
Yeah, you're a winner, though, brother.
Great.
You get the Christmas Chaos book and a pair of tickets, too, so hang on the line. Julia's going to get some information, okay?
Okay.
All right. Let's recap the news in case you missed us, starting at 7 o'clock. Paul Heyman's in Los Angeles talking with representatives from FX and USA, trying to work out another national television contract for Extreme Championship Wrestling.
Got to give him credit. He's not letting any moss grow under that stone. He's everywhere, and I think desperate times are coming for ECW if they don't sign a contract here very, very soon.
Also, there's also talk that Paul is also speaking with farmclub.com, the show on the USA Network, about maybe having some kind of partnership with them. Ratings this week, Raw banged out a 5.0, Nitro a 2.5. Ratings are down for Raw. Part of that could be that apparently, according to Bob Ryder of OneWrestling.com, Viacom misrepresented some information about exactly how many networks TNN was available to when they were courting the World Wrestling Federation. In one instance, again, this is from Bob Ryder of OneWrestling.com, TNN said that there was a cable channel up in the Northeast, cable system, with 115,000 subscribers, when in fact there's only 10,000 that get TNN.
And we're seeing that a lot. I think that's definitely had to come into play with what you're seeing with the ratings. And you're not going to hear the end of this for quite some time. I think there'll probably be a review of most every area to see what the actual numbers are now.
Vampiro suffering a major concussion at the pay-per-view at Halloween Havoc. Despite this, he worked Nitro and Thunder. We'll find out more about his condition, let you know on the Wrestling Guys hotline. This weekend on Mad TV, Chyna will be a host of that, and she's going to do something with Will Sasso. That'll be interesting.
No, The Rock.
Will Sasso's going to play The Rock.
Yeah, that's what I meant, The Rock.
Will Sasso and The Rock.
I bet he makes a good Rock.
Bret Hart is the guest with Jim Rome this Friday on The Last Word.
Woo-hoo!
Some very, very candid comments from Bret Hart about Vince McMahon. Quote, "It's amazing how devious, sick, psychopath this guy really is."
Devious, sick, psychopath.
Also about wrestling today, quote, "If you got big boobs and you can drop your pants, and that's how you get high ratings." So anyway, Bret Hart very upset. The Last Word is on Fox Sports Net, 6:30, 11:30 this Friday night on Fox. Also, Stephanie McMahon possibly getting involved in the movies on Angel's Wings, a film scheduled to start filming next year in Philadelphia.
What is she? What's her part there? I know she ends up being a barmaid of some
The
kind.
role is an ex-classical dancer turned bartender who is the love interest and voice of sanity for the lead character.
Hey, that's it. And the number one pick for the part.
And the number one pick for the part is Stephanie McMahon.
Aaron Boone's girlfriend.
Well, no, we can't. We don't want to jump the gun. We don't want to make Stephanie nervous.
Well, maybe Boonie's nervous.
Boonie is nervous.
You think? Oh, you think?
Yeah, just so slightly.
I think I'd be nervous.
In case you haven't heard this, Julia, you have caller number 7 now? Julie's getting the information. So, in case you haven't heard, Aaron Boone of the Cincinnati Reds, third baseman, he is smitten by Stephanie McMahon.
Yes, he is.
So he called Marty.
And he thinks she's a hottie.
So we then called the WWF.
That's correct.
And it looks like we are going to arrange a meeting between Aaron and Stephanie November 13th in Columbus.
And he just wants to meet her, and, both young.
No, nothing else, just they want to meet.
Yeah, and just see if things click off. Maybe they'll go, have a bite to eat afterwards.
They'll get some ice cream.
Yeah, just something. Take a walk in the park.
Absolutely. Go to the movies.
Yeah.
Be very nice.
Yeah, I think it'd be real down to earth.
Julia, you don't approve of this?
You guys are silly.
Why are we silly?
Do you have a caller 7 for us?
Yes, I have a caller 7.
Put him on the line. Caller 7, who is this?
It's Andy.
Andy.
Hey, how you guys doing?
Andy the Hate Man. That's who this is.
Yeah.
Andy, you get the cookbook and a couple tickets for Cincinnati. So, do you cook a lot?
I can.
Okay, well, this will give you some recipes to dig into, and congratulations to you. Julia will give you all the details, okay?
All right, thanks a lot.
Thanks a lot, Andy.
Thanks for calling in, Hate Man.
Again, we want to thank Regal Books for giving us the books, the cookbooks to give away. Can You Take the Heat? The WWF is cooking. You can pick that up in any of fine bookstores. And, of course, we're going to have more copies to give away here in the next week or two. Also, they also are the publishers behind Mick Foley's Christmas Chaos, a very different Christmas tale.
Yeah, so do you really think that's a kid's book?
But it's still a lot of fun.
Okay.
If you want to talk about naked elves and how the World Wrestling Federation saves Christmas, you can do that. One cool thing about this book, a portion of the profits will be contributed to the Shriners Hospital for Children, a network of 22 hospitals that provide expert, no-cost orthopedic and burn care to children under 18. And a very cool thing for Mick Foley to be doing in HarperCollins with this book. So
a lot of people talking about that. Mick always seems to be doing the right thing, and got to give him credit. Since his #1 bestseller, he's really been a busy man and continues to surprise you with abilities you would never thought he was capable of.
That's a good way of putting it. That is a very good way of putting it. SmackDown on Thursday, the Miami Valley channel here locally at 8 o'clock. Of course, don't forget the Women in Wrestling are on before that at 7. But SmackDown, The Rock, Stone Cold Steve Austin confront each other Did The Rock know about Rikishi's attack on Stone Cold Steve Austin? Did The Rock authorize and approve the attack?
Do you think that really happened?
Don't know. Rikishi said it did.
He'll lie.
Rikishi said it did.
He don't say anything.
He's a little bit upset with The Rock anyway. So
Yeah, that's what I mean. He could be just throwing a swerve in there right now.
Nitro tonight, you got Goldberg, Sting. You know, the one thing you got to, in case you don't know, Thunder is now taped immediately following Nitro on Monday nights. So you now have more of the major league players, the Goldbergs, the Stings. They're already there, so now they're on Thunder. Thunder's becoming a much better show because of that.
And what a show to go to if you think about it. It's not like they're emptying the arena. It's back to the old days when you went to a WCW show. There may be 20 matches there in the course of a night. So it's just great, great shows. You can almost play the storylines from one end to the other during the entire evening.
Don't forget this Saturday, Outlaw Championship Wrestling, John Bryan Community Center in Yellow Springs. For details, 229-8189.
And there's going to be, what do they got? World Heavyweight Championship match. There's a tournament for the other championship. Mike West called in a little earlier talking about it. Nightmare Randy Kirby, and what's that other guy do? The Ticket Man? No, he's the announcer, isn't he?
I thought he sold popcorn.
He sells popcorn?
Dave,
he used to be a manager or something.
He used to be a manager long ago.
They got rid of him.
Diamond.
Yeah. Long-haired guy that he kind of just hangs out there with the wrestlers.
He parks cars sometimes, I think.
Yeah, he does. So, he's a jack of all trades.
Literally, yes.
Yes, he is.
And again, Unified Championship Wrestling is Raj Cox. We thank him for joining us earlier. Next week, we're going to give away tickets to WCW. Really is doing something with his fingers.
Yeah,
I don't know what that's all about.
It's called finger aerobics.
Ah, that's what that is.
Yes,
okay.
it is. But I think that's our cue to get out of here.
Thanks for listening. We are the Tag Team Champions of Talk Radio.
The Wrestling Guys, and you've been listening to Buckeye Country 106.5 WBKI. Good night, Dayton.
Proud to present Marty Adams and Shawn Stidham, the Wrestling Guys.
Hello, Dayton, and we're back again, the Tag Team Champions of Talk Radio. It's the Wrestling Guys, Marty Adams, Shawn Stidham in the house, the 69th wonder of the world, at the helm behind the board, and we've got a lot to talk about with the WWF invading the Miami Valley this Saturday in Cincinnati, Sunday night right here at Dayton, Ohio, live remote with the Wrestling Guys, and do we have the tickets and prizes to give away tonight, brother?
It's going to be a lot of fun this Sunday, thanks to Paydays, 5 to 7 in front of the Nutter Center. Join Marty, myself. Julia says she'll be there. Right, anyway.
Right, she is never done.
Yeah.
Maybe not.
Joe says he's going to be there, so make sure you don't bring any food around.
Not.
Willie F. is going to be there. We've talked to a lot of people. Maybe some of the WWF guys will come out and say hi to us. We don't know. We can't confirm that. But
we're looking at a lot of different things, but one thing is for sure. We will be there. The WWF will be there. The card's being changed as we speak, and you found out a little tidbit by going to the WWF website a few minutes ago.
Well, they're running 2 shows on Sunday, so we don't know the exact breakdown, but from what we understand, Steve Austin is supposed to be in Dayton, so we should get the rundown. If they have the same main event they do in Cincinnati, which is quite possible, the Cincinnati main event for this Saturday is Austin and Jericho against Rikishi and X-Pac. Also in Cincinnati this weekend is The Undertaker. He's going to be against, is it Angle, I think? No, Angle is in a 3-way with Benoit and Triple H. I can't remember who The Undertaker's facing this weekend, but both days are going to be huge. Then in Columbus on Monday with Raw is War, and then even Tuesday, the SmackDown tapings are just across the board in Indianapolis. And both of those days, Monday and Tuesday, you'll have an opportunity to meet our guests later in the show.
That's it. We've got him, the one and only JR, coming on tonight to talk a little bit about not only his cookbook that's come out and taken the book company by storm, but also by...
Guess what?
What?
Yes, Julia.
I made China's avocado guacamole salad.
Really?
Yes, I
And
did.
how was it?
It was very good.
People ate it?
Yes.
And you brought our samples?
Yes.
No. Because
No.
I made it like Monday, and it won't stay for 2 days.
Yeah, guacamole, bro.
You could have brought
I
something
mean,
else.
Well, I didn't have that much time to prepare.
That's all right.
something
That's okay.
else.
But you know what? You know who did? Randy Kirby, God bless him, dropped off some very, very cool chocolate peanut butter, very cool stuff that is very rich, and we can eat like a bite, and that's it. But it's very good. And Dean was in here for Mix 107.7 snacking away. Joe's already wolfed out about, what, 20?
Oh, well, you know, there's food, there's Joe. It doesn't matter what he's doing. If he has a job to do at the other side of the building and he has a 30-second break, you can hear the building shaking as he's running over here to get it.
And again, throughout the night tonight, we have various WWF stuff to give away. We have copies of the cookbook, Can You Take the Heat? We've got tickets to both Cincinnati and Dayton. And also we've got T-shirts and a whole bunch more we're going to dole out as the night goes on.
And then having some insight on what's really going on. You want to know all the scoops that are scoops. The WWF, are they still in the hunt for WCW? Who's the next breakout star? Now it's no. I get so, you are like a washboard. You're all over the place. No, it's yes.
It's not my fault. Linda McMahon said no.
That's right.
Let's go ahead and get right into the news.
Yes, why don't we?
If you missed the hotline reports the last couple of days, Linda McMahon has said publicly now the World Wrestling Federation will not buy WCW. She said she did confirm both sides had discussions. However, there was just some elements they could not agree upon, and so the deal is now not going to happen. As we've told the last few weeks, some of those deals included past revenues that the World Wrestling Federation wanted to get access to that they could not. Also, there was some legal obstacles that the World Wrestling Federation would have had to overcome, and they just kind of felt that that would be too much, and it was just simply not worth the time, effort, and money that it would have taken to get WCW.
Time, effort, and money.
Absolutely.
That's an all-encompassing statement.
It would have taken all three things. WCW, from what we understand, is still up for sale. Eric Bischoff is still trying to put a company together, but again, we don't have anything new to talk about in that regard.
One thing, though, doesn't it seem odd that one of the ideas that Eric Bischoff had, and that's Battle Dome coming in and doing something as a kind of inter-rivalry, all of a sudden comes into play, and all of a sudden one of Eric's best friends, none other than Diamond Dallas Page, is back on television this week.
Yeah, that's a coincidence. And the other thing, too, which came out earlier today, is that Mean Gene Okerlund gave a report. And again, when Mean Gene talks, you kind of have to go, okay, it's in one ear, out the other sometimes. But and I just had it here somewhere. But anyway, he was hinting around. I can't find the radio show he was on earlier today. But he was hinting around that Hulk Hogan may be returning to WCW. Hogan still has 3 or 4 pay-per-views he's contracted to do, and it's possible that with Vince Russo now maybe out of the picture, that Hogan could come in and finish out that contract. And I'm sure if Bischoff is going to be involved in a company that's going to buy WCW, we all know about the friendship there. I'm sure Eric Bischoff would not have a problem with that.
Absolutely not, and I think it'll probably happen. You're not going to let a guy get out there. They still have to pay him for several more appearances. You might as well get some bang for your buck for your money.
Other news to get into, SmackDown this week. It looks like it's going to be a hot show. Your main event this Thursday, Triple H and Rikishi battling Stone Cold Steve Austin and The Rock. That's a big tag team main event.
That is.
That's going to happen Thursday on SmackDown. We still don't know who the president is, but we do know this. Bob Backlund will not be representing Connecticut in the House of Representatives.
Gave it a shot, though. You got to give him credit.
It was the bow tie, I think.
You think so?
I think it was the bow tie. Very conservative, you know. But Bob Backlund was defeated by incumbent John B. Larson in his attempt to win a seat in the House. Backlund only garnered 30% of the votes, so not good numbers there for Bob.
Not at all.
You think he's going to put Larson in that cross-faced chicken wing now?
I think he should. I mean, let's face it, you can't be a good loser and be an ex-wrestler. Go slap him, do something, call him out, set the stage for the next election.
What's going to happen then with Bush and Gore? This could be.
Let me tell you what, this thing could turn into a Donnybrook, to say the least.
That's what it looks like is going to happen. Ratings are in. Raw was up just a slight bit, a 5.1. Both hours did a 5.1, actually. Nitro did a total of a 2.5. Hours were 3.0 and 2.1. Survivor Series, we all know it's a major pay-per-view. It's shaping up to be a big one November 19th. Stone Cold Steve Austin will battle Triple H. The Rock will battle Rikishi. Kurt Angle defends the WWF title against The Undertaker. And Chris Jericho against Kane. Maybe it's a coffee match.
A coffee match?
I don't know. I'm just speculating.
My God, Shawn.
What?
You're losing it tonight. What? You're so happy about JR, isn't he?
I think you are. Yeah,
Thank
just,
you.
What the hell is this alliance right here?
Yeah,
What's going on?
That's right. It changes weekly around here.
Yeah, I can gather that. A press conference happened earlier today in Houston, Texas to promote WrestleMania. Of course, WrestleMania next year is going to happen from the Astrodome. And they just simply talked about GalleryFurniture.com. They're going to sponsor it, I guess. And talked about some different memories about Stephanie McMahon has a picture of herself asleep in Andre the Giant's lap during WrestleMania when she was 8 years old.
Oh,
yes.
That's so touching.
Mick Foley made fun of Kurt Angle, saying it's the only wrestler in history to win the heavyweight title with a big booger in his nose.
Well, hey, no, yeah, good point.
No, Rick Rude won some titles, I think, that way, but
that was a big one, though.
That was a big one. That was bad, and a whole bunch of other stuff. ECW says there's going to be some major changes to the December ECW pay-per-view. They're meeting with In-Demand pay-per-view today. Apparently, the TV tapings this Saturday at Mid-Hudson Civic Center and Poughkeepsie in New York will be huge and will have a bearing on the pay-per-view. All they would say, one ECW source was quoted as saying, heavy blank will take place Saturday. That's all he said.
The only thing I'm saying is that if Paul Heyman doesn't do something here real quick, it's not going to matter much what happens with any of the pay-per-views because there's not going to be many more.
The current edition of the Hollywood Reporter is reporting that FAO Schwartz has joined the list of companies refusing to carry WWF merchandise aimed at children. And now, of course, who do you think's taking credit for that? The PTC.
You got it.
Thank you very much. What else we got to get to here? Nothing new to report on the condition of Sinister Minister Jim Mitchell. This past Sunday before the pay-per-view, he was practicing a promo where he was going to throw fire. Something backfired and ended up exploding onto him. He suffered basically a bullet-sized hole into his stomach from the shrapnel. He also had part of his left index finger blown off. And luckily, it looks like he will be okay thanks to plastic surgery. He still may have some nerve and tendon damage, but all in all, he should be released from the hospital sometime next week. He's had a couple different surgeries already, and of course, we wish him nothing but the best. I always liked that guy. I thought he did a very good job in WCW with what he had to work with.
I agree. That's a shame, but it sounds like he's going to come out of it okay.
Something I went on a rant on the other day, Bobby the Brain Heenan is going to be let go by WCW. They plan on exercising the 90-day review clause in his contract and release him from the company. Now, it's quite possible that Bobby Heenan will be re-signed at a lower amount, but given the fact that this guy is tons better than Mark Madden, Stevie Ray, or Tony Schiavone, it's ridiculous they don't use him.
Doesn't make any sense. You know, a lot of people, the great thing about Bobby the Brain Heenan is he grabbed a lot of different age groups. Mm-hmm. He didn't appeal to just the kids because he had people from middle age, older people that have been watching wrestling. So he had a cross-reference among the fan base. Mark Madden stinks, let's face it. Yes. Anybody that doesn't agree with that, call the hotline and tell Shawn about it because I don't even want to hear it. Secondly, Tony Schiavone, give me a break.
The thing for Nitro, the announcing team should be Scott Hudson and Bobby Heenan. One thing which is screwy about this entire situation, Bobby Heenan did not lose his job because of bad performance. He was sick. Mark Madden filled in at the last second, did an okay job, and Vince Russo got the idea to make Mark Madden the full-time color commentator. Mark Madden is not a bad writer. Mark Madden has some good viewpoints, but the character he's trying to portray Mondays on Nitro is not getting over that well. Bobby Heenan was funny enough, witty enough, as Marty said, to appeal to the younger audience, the younger fans, and of course, those of us that have watched wrestling 20, 30 years, we go back and we've seen him all along, so of course he appeals to us.
Yeah, and I think Mark Madden's trying to be himself. And, that's got to be tough for him, because I don't know anybody that would want to be like Mark Madden.
The other thing, too, about Bobby Heenan, we don't know if he's going to go to the World Wrestling Federation. From what we understand, he is still under good graces with Vince McMahon. The one thing about Bobby Heenan, and which was very classy, I thought, during the last 5-6 years when Eric Bischoff, when Tony Schiavone, when others in WCW would take the shots at the World Wrestling Federation, Bobby Heenan never did. Bobby Heenan always seemed like when that was happening, he was a little bit uncomfortable, and you would always hear him trying to move along to another point, to try and, hey, let's get away from that, let's concentrate on what's happening here.
Yeah, and more professionalism that he added to the booth when he was in there.
And the only reason he left the World Wrestling Federation, let's face it, 1993, 1994, WCW is basically spending a lot of money to pull in names like Hulk Hogan, like Randy Savage, and WWF was in a lot of turmoil. Their future was cloudy. There was a lot of scandal going on, so it was a good time to get out of that company. But I think now, hopefully, the World Wrestling Federation will allow him back. I don't see a three-man booth working on Raw, but I think sit him alongside of Michael Cole on SmackDown, let those two have that program, that could be good.
Yeah, depending on what happens, people are going to be reassigned anyway. When this WCW project seemed to be like it was going to happen with the WWF, the rumors that we had that were circulated that Jim Ross was going to be in charge of WCW.
Right.
Now, would he have still been an announcer on Monday night? We don't know that. A lot of things can change. Bobby the Brain Heenan, a proven star in his own right.
457-1065, our phone number. A lot to talk about tonight. Your thoughts about Triple H joining Rikishi. What's that all about? The Great White Hope, and now he's got Triple H.
He's a heel, man. He's back to being a heel. God love him.
Oh, I love that. You know what I liked? When he pulled out the black glove. I was just talking to somebody over the weekend. I said, you know what? It's been a long time. Ted DiBiase used to use that black glove. When's the last time we saw a loaded black glove being used? And then Monday night, Triple H pulls it out and uses it. I love that. But your thoughts about that, WCW, if you want to, and ECW, of course. We can talk about the pay-per-view. And anything else you want to at 457-1065. I think
we got a lot of tickets, a lot of T-shirts, a lot of cookbooks. And can you take the heat? We're going to be talking to JR later.
That's going to be a little bit later in the program. You are listening to The Wrestling Guys
on Buckeye Country WBKI 106.5. Welcome back to the Wrestling Guys, brought to you by Dyer, Garofalo, Mann and Schultz, the accident attorneys, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. If you need help, you know where to call. Call 1-800-INJURED and put a Tiger on your team. This Sunday from 5 to 7 o'clock, Nutter Center. Not only does the WWF come to town, but the Wrestling Guys and maybe, just maybe, the 69th Wonder of the World is going to be there.
She claims she'll be there. She won't show.
We will be giving it all away there. Last time we were at the Nutter Center, 55 dozen donuts in what, about an hour?
You would have thought that she would come out for 55 Krispy Kreme donuts, but no, 55 dozen.
What are you saying that I like to eat?
No, what the heck is that?
Let's wait a minute.
Wait, you're not my wife. You're not supposed to ask questions like that.
I cannot believe the conversation went that route.
I can't either. She took it. My goodness.
Anyway.
Where's that Hardy Boys shirt at? I think we need to get that back.
No, I like that.
But we're going to be doing a lot of stuff, 5 to 7 o'clock. Bring out your Wrestling Guys banners with you. We're going to give away some things. I don't care what it is, a sign, a T-shirt, a hat that you did with the Wrestling Guys on it. But bring it on out. We did the same thing at one of our other ones earlier this year.
Yep.
We're going to give away a lot of nice prizes, so be there and meet and greet us. And we're going to bring some of the wrestlers out to talk to.
And what would be very cool, too, is that, a lot of people know callers on this show, and it's very cool because, you really don't get to see each other that much, or you're going to see people for the first time. When we were at the ticket, I don't want to say giveaway, but when tickets went on sale at the Nutter Center, Spanish Fly came out, The Rocket was there, so a lot of our loyal listeners and callers are coming out. So it's just going to be a nice time to hang out, have some fun, and get ready for the show. And finally meet Julia. Right.
Finally?
Maybe. Yeah.
Maybe.
Anyway, a couple of other things to let you know about. Number one, next week I will not be here. Willie F. will be in charge with Marty. So
in charge?
Well, I'm
Look,
sorry.
Willie F.'s coming in. He will talk if we allow him to talk.
Oh.
We'll let him go on one of his rants because that's all he does on Saturday and Sunday on the hotline is go because there's not a lot of news. He's got to go into a rant.
He's great at that. I like that.
And if he turns into his alter ego, then we're going to have to really do something bad.
He claims that he does not know who Brock Guffman is.
Yeah, I've heard that, and I've also saw the movie Sybil. So, whatever.
And then 2 weeks from tonight, Gary Michael Capetta, former ring announcer for the World Wrestling Federation and WCW, he has written a book called Body Slams, which if you go to the website, www.bodyslams.com, or call 1-866-BODY-SLAMS, you can get your copy. He tells a lot of behind-the-scenes stories. One of those stories right now is published in this month's issue of Pro Wrestling Illustrated. It's a behind-the-scenes look at the Sid and Arn Anderson brawl. And you might remember when that happened. After that happened, Arn Anderson and Sid Vicious were both not allowed to discuss it due to legal reasons. Gary Michael Capetta's room was right across the hall from Arn Anderson. He heard the entire thing. He has some very nice insights about it. Plus, the book has a lot of stories about Ric Flair, Vince McMahon, et cetera, et cetera. He's going to join us in a couple of weeks, and then also joining us either in 2 or 3 weeks.
Go ahead.
You say it.
The man himself, Bill Goldberg, who really was kind of banned from the show.
He, of course, has a book out now, I'm Next, thanks to Crown Publishing. And remember the last time he was on this program, very opinionated. And the book is very opinionated.
Well, let me tell you what, he didn't worry about stepping any toes, kicking a few faces, or slapping a few hands. And Billy let it all hang out in this book. We've only seen some excerpts from it. We haven't seen the entire book yet. But from what we hear, you've got the National Enquirer, and then you got Bill's book.
457-1065 is the phone number. Let's go ahead and start the night off taking some phone calls.
All right, let's get to line 2 right now, all the way from where? The Undertaker guy.
Hey, how's the greatest team in wrestling doing on talk radio?
Oh, geez.
You got
That's
it.
Very nice.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. We're doing fine.
Not after what you guys said, Kurt Angle, The Undertaker is the main event. I'm going to cry.
I think we asked that question a couple weeks ago, what would happen, and it looks like it's coming to fruition, that The Undertaker, Kurt Angle at Survivor Series.
I guess I'll have to have a Kurt Angle shirt and have an Undertaker shirt.
Well, then you've got the best of both worlds there. That's your 2 favorite wrestlers, isn't it?
Oh, God. I mean, they are the greatest thing walking the face of the earth besides you two, but hey.
Oh, God. Somebody wants tickets.
If I can meet Kurt Angle, I'll get on my hands and knees. We'll take it.
You don't have to do that, trust me.
Let's not a good visual.
No.
To make The Undertaker and Kurt Angle, I'll do anything. I'll eat wounds.
Well, we're not giving away that. We're not giving away that, but, we'll see what happens.
Okay, my question is this. Okay, first of all, I'm glad Triple H is a heel because he makes a great heel instead of a fan favorite. I'm glad he stayed a heel. Okay, in the Triple H feud, is there a chance that The Undertaker might get involved in it?
I think that's a possibility. I don't think it's going to happen real soon, just from what we've seen with the cards and everything else coming out. But again, anything can happen in the World Wrestling Federation.
Well, I know this might sound stupid, but could this happen for WrestleMania? The Undertaker could win the belt, and like Triple H could cost the Undertaker like against Austin or something, and start a feud for them for WrestleMania.
I don't see Undertaker in the main event at WrestleMania.
I just right now he's not really at the level that he's getting a major push. But you know what? That's a great thing that's going on in the WWF is that there are so many stars that the minute somebody does kind of take a back seat, there are 3 or 4 people of equal stature, and the Undertaker being one of them, they can jump right in there.
And the other thing we didn't mention this earlier is that there's some reports that Triple H is suffering from some kind of leg injury, and we really don't have the details on exactly how serious it is or if it's going to keep him out. We don't think it's that serious.
He's been limping. We know that, and we know there is an injury.
And if you notice Monday on Raw, he did not really get involved in the tag team match until the very end when he came in for the pedigree. So depending on how his physical health is, there's a possibility that they could have to plug somebody else in there. And, of course, Undertaker does have the name to go into that position. It's just lately he's not been used as a top-level main event wrestler.
Well, what I figured, since you said they're going to have Rock and Austin as the main event, that another event would be like Triple H and The Undertaker.
Again, The Rock and Austin right now is what's heavily being rumored. We don't know anything for sure. I'm sure it may change 2 or 3 times between now and March.
And will Kurt Angle turn face now since Triple H is heel?
That's a good question. I don't know if they're going to put Kurt Angle in a face role or not. It'll be interesting to see how they play all this out.
Okay, and tell Rolliet to quit giving Michael Hall some clothes.
Well, we'll try and pass that message
You'll
along.
get your chance to get him next Wednesday, buddy.
Hey, he's afraid to.
Is
I
that
just
it?
stick his head in the toilet like I do every time I see him.
All right. Thanks a lot for the call.
All right, buddy. Thanks, man.
This dude have a history.
They do have it. I wonder how many swirlies he's really gave, Willie.
Well, I don't know. You think Undertaker guy maybe is fibbing a little bit, that maybe he's...
Well, I don't know. Willie probably looks like that kind of kid when I was in school that you'd want to swirl up. I mean, you just never know. He'd give you that little rant, and then you'd jam him in a toilet somewhere.
Somebody else now that is in the World Wrestling Federation, she used to be called Mona in WCW, but now she will be another Holly cousin. You saw her come out on Monday on Raw and alongside of Crash Holly. She will be in his corner this Sunday on Heat when Crash Holly takes on Kurt Angle.
Should be good. Crash Holly back. Can he make it? Can he make it through the match without passing out? These are all the questions that wrestling fans need to know.
Well, hopefully he can. If you look in the cookbook, his recipes for Jell-O shooters, so hopefully he'll wait till after the match for those.
You think?
We'll see.
It's unbelievable. I think that, you look at what happened with Crash Holly, and, really, though, there was never anything that was said. Did he maybe go to rehabilitation? Did he get anything done? It just said he was having a hard time.
I don't think it was that serious at all. I mean, there's different levels. Some guys just party a lot and some guys have a problem. I think Crash Holly, let's face it, he's a young guy. He really hasn't been at this level for that long. He was enjoying it. A job